people, we'd have to have a ratio of more people doing one thing and less people doing the other for it to kind of decline and increase.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Did you have a question?
Do you think that the bias in the survey is also how the officers were raised? Because some people that are in the system end up becoming like workers in the system. So do you think
Yeah.
they would have like more positive outcomes? Was it different?
I definitely think so. And not only but how they were raised, but also they also had other jobs before they were probation officers. Some of them were police officers, some of them worked in corrections, some of them this is their first job ever. So it really just depends. But I definitely think that their lifestyle and the way that they grew up has something to do with it. I think it does. They all have their own personality, of course, and they're all their own person. So I definitely think that they all run things a little bit differently. It depends on who you talk to. Some
I
are
think
more.
generations too actually like play a part of it as well, because it's like there was a Harvard study done where it's like they create like a U graph of like the age range of like I think it was like 12 to like 26 or 28 or something, and when you look at the millennials and like baby boomers, it was like in upwards like you, and then
Yeah.
they did a study where they did Gen Z specifically, and actually for the first time it was downward
Yeah.
you, because it's like we have so much access to horrible things going on in the world. It's like you pick
It's
up your
true.
phone, you get like a notification, and it's like, you know, something about like a horrific event that happened.
Yeah.
And, like I think we're so desensitized at the same time, but at the
Yeah.
same time we're not.
Do you think that we get like that kind of adrenaline that we need from watching those videos rather than actually committing them? Do you think that that's also why?
I think
Maybe.
that could be definitely, yeah, a factor for sure. And I think too, like because our brains are still not fully developed, it's almost like we get inspired. It's like someone like, you know, sees a shooting happen and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that's going on, let me go do the same thing.
Exactly.
And I think that desensitization is really what affects Gen Z. So I
Yeah.
kind of actually am interested to see the rates when our generation gets into these job positions and stuff, because
Yeah.
like with the alcoholism, drugs, all of that, because we just see things every day, whereas older generations didn't have access to it so easily.
Exactly. Well,
So
we'll
you
see.
say like that makes Gen Z like more like sympathetic, or are you hitting on a different point?
I think actually it can go both ways. I think like people can be very sympathetic and empathetic, but then also I think can be very apathetic. Because it's like we were so used to seeing all
Yeah.
of these bad things going on in the news.
Almost like antisocial. Like, 'cause-
Exactly, yeah.
I agree. I just wanted to, that's an interesting point though.
Yeah, because it's like we literally, I see a lot of people in Gen Z who cannot carry on a conversation in
Mhm.
person, but it's like only on the phone, and then all the time too on the phone they can't even carry a conversation through
It
text.
depends.
Is that isolation as well that we're feeling, because we just do everything online with each other instead of actually interacting with each other,
Yeah.
which definitely like humans need.
We do. We're lacking it for sure.
Yeah.
Anybody else? We got some good conversation, guys. I'm proud of y'all. That was good. Are y'all ready to move on, or do we have any other thoughts? No? Okay. Alright, I know a lot of you probably know APA 7th edition, but Dr. J was telling me that you guys were having some trouble with some of it, especially in-text citations and your reference page, so we can go over that real quick. It won't take long. Alright, in-text citations. So, if it's a direct quote, you need your author, your year, and your page number. So for your formats, you have paraphrase and you have a direct quote, two different things. We'll talk about it in a moment. But with a paraphrase, you have this right here, you have your parentheses, you have Smith 2020. For a direct quote, you put Smith 2020 and the page number. That way we know exactly where your source came from. Now, narrative versus parenthetical. So, this is kind of ironic because you don't need to put either a narrative or a parenthetical whenever you have basic information that everyone knows. Everyone knows the sky's blue. Dr. J uses this a lot. But if you're doing a narrative and it's information that people don't know, you can put Smith 2020 with your parentheses, Argue that the sky is blue, period. For parenthetical, you can put the method used to discover that the sky is blue was found to be effective. Smith 2020. But you need that period at the end. You don't put the period right here at the end of the sentence. You put it at the end of the parenthetical citation. So with authors, if you have 1 to 2, you cite both names every time. Smith and Jones 2021. Let's see. But it's not in alphabetical order, you do it in the order of publication. So if Smith comes first in the publication, you put Smith, and then you put Jones. Never put them in alphabetical order. Whenever you get to your references, you put the first name in alphabetical order. We'll get to that in a minute. If you have 3+ authors, you put the first name of the author, well, not the first name, but the first last name of the author, and then you put et al, period, comma, 2021. Okay, for no author, you used a shortened title from the source. So for shorter standalone works, a book or website, you italicize the shortened title. So you'll put example, for an example, you put shortened title, you put the italicized, comma, 2025, parentheses, close parentheses. For larger collected works, as such as an article or a magazine, you quote it, so you put a shortened title, which is just the example, you quote it, and then you put 2025 parentheses. If both are missing, you use the appropriate format of ND, which stands for no date. Y'all have any questions? Good. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so back to the author part. What do you do when they have like titles and initials on their name? Like for the book that we're using, it has like initials in the front, I think, and the last name.
Right, you just use the last name, but in the reference sheet, you put their entire name. Gotcha. Okay, and here's your references. This is just a basic outline. It's from a credible source from a .org, so you can trust it. It's from apastyle.apa.org. If y'all need to look at this, but this is just an example of a reference sheet. It does go on a separate page. It's bolded and it's centered. You can use Arial, but we usually use Times New Roman 12-point font. The authors are in alphabetical order by the author's last name, and you always have a hanging indent of 1/2 inch between each one of these articles. But on the side, you'll always have an inch margin. And I did post a link of this. If you ever have trouble with your references, you can put in more, and it'll give you anything that you can think of: maps, images, regulation, websites, videos, ebooks. That way you know exactly what you're citing. But usually you'll just use website. Make sure you're on APA 7 if you use this. I have used it on every single paper for 4 years. I've gotten plenty of A's on them, so I think that this is credible. So this is the link again if y'all need it. For a second.
Whenever you paste it, is it already like formatted correctly?
Yes. You just press copy link and it'll paste it for you. And it'll do the hanging indent and everything.
If you go to take it out of there, would it show up like, you know, when you turn it in, you just turn it in?
Right.
It has like the similarity. Like, would it be like it was exported into a new like web browser? Doesn't
No, because whenever you go to a credible source, like let's say you go to a .org source, and sometimes they give you the option to copy the references, it'll be the exact same. So, no, you should be fine. I can redo that though and make sure, because just to make sure for you guys, but it's never done that for me, so it should be fine.
It'll sometimes highlight it, but like you can see the highlight, so if our references are highlighted, I mean those are copied like.
Exactly. I mean, people have probably referenced some of the things that you guys have referenced plenty of times, so I mean it may show up, but it will not count against you. And I did have some resources for you. This is the STYLE website. This is the Purdue OWL APA guide. And of course the LSUA Tutoring Center, the writing department. Again, I am part of that if y'all ever need help with anything. And that's it for that. I know that you guys have until, Riley, do you know whenever the exam 2 is due? The 9th, I believe?
Exam 2 should be due on November 2nd.
The
which is
second,
a
okay,
Sunday.
the second. Okay, so do you guys want to go over